All right. Hello, friends. Welcome to YouTube channel Health Q, the place where our mission is to not only motivate you but help you to move on to the brighter side of the health. We all know our children are so special for everyone. Parents become more paranoid more than ever when anything happens to their children. But when children suffer from a disorder where finding the solution for that problem becomes difficult, they start feeling helpless. They start feeling depressed and they feel that this is the end of the world. And our mission is that we want to make you believe that nothing is at the end of the world. There's always a ray of hope if you believe, if you have faith, and if you are ready to work towards it. And when it comes to developmental disorders like cerebral palsy, autism, ADHD, this is a common feeling that most of the parents feel. And to solve these challenges, we are trying to create series of videos which are not only educational but informative for you. We try to bring experts from different domains of healthcare ecosystem in front of you so that they can help you and guide you forward. And one such person today with me is Dr. Ashwani Garg. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for being part of this event.
Thank you, Meghnaji. Thank you so much for having me, so I can share some little bit whatever I know.
Sure. So, Fritz, before we start, I would like to give a quick introduction about him. So, Dr. Ashwani holds a medical degree. He's a doctor, but later on, he found his passion in practicing functional medicine. He is a deep believer that lifestyle modification and changes is the key for healthy lifestyle. He advocates positive lifestyle changes not only through diet but through various practices. And his center, Functional Medicine Program, basically focuses on solving various health related disorders with the help of functional medicine. So, without wasting any due time, let's get started. But before we start, we have this ritual, a small ritual. Like what we try to do is we call it as icebreaker, so everybody gets comfortable to it. So, there would be quick questions to you. What is the best part that you like about Bangalore?
I think South Bangalore is good so far, but otherwise, it has been a good city, but now lately, infrastructure is crumbling.
Awesome, awesome. All right. And three favorite places about the city.
I think Nandi Hill. Uh, then I think that's the only thing I
You
frequently
enjoy.
visit.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So, sir, thank you for this. Let's quickly dive into it. So, before I start asking you any question, can you tell me this thing like what led you to opt this journey of functional medicine? What was that core point of change that made you believe that this is the path I want to pursue?
Okay. Yeah. As a medical doctor, we should be helping people, and with the conventional tools that we have been given, sometimes we always felt that helpless. We are told that this is disease meant for life. You can only support, you cannot make the disease go away. It's more of a helpless feeling for the patient and for the doctor also. And we never wanted to settle for this answer of that it cannot be solved. So I think this has led to explore various things before we entered into this of functional medicine. And today we are not helpless. Our patients or our clients are not helpless. At least we give them a direction, and then people who follow and rigorously and make that necessary change for themselves, for their kids, they are able to solve their problem, and that is motivating us.
Awesome, awesome. So, just a quick question to you: what is functional medicine? What exactly it is? Because I think not many people know about this yet.
Yeah. So let's take it with an example. For example, diabetes. Diabetes, high blood sugars is by definition. High blood sugars in conventional medicine, we will always try to bring the blood sugars down either by increasing insulin in the blood or by excreting more sugars from the kidneys or by improving insulin sensitivity. So generally, these three kind of drugs or things, but we never try to look into why blood sugars are becoming high. Now, functional medicine is about knowing the root cause and solving the root cause. So as per functional medicine or as per the science, it doesn't matter what's the label of the this thing. So if you have a car, there's a fuel in the tank and there's an engine. Now, if engine is not functioning, fuel will never come down. Same applies to the body. Sugars are there, and you have your engines consuming that sugar to give you energy. Now, what is that engine? That is the mitochondria.
Mm.
For some reason, if your mitochondria in the cell is not functional, is not optimally functioning, number has reduced or functionality has reduced, that has led to the sugars going high.
Mm.
So in functional medicine, we try to see what are the reasons which are impacting the mitochondrial health, that is damaged mitochondria, which is causing high blood sugar.
Got
Now,
it.
if I improve the consumption machinery, the
Mm.
sugars, I don't have to forcefully bring it down. Okay, that is how it is
Mm.
meant for. Now, if I forcefully bring the sugars down, I might manage good sugars, but actually I'll reduce the longevity.
Mm.
The, in the conventional system, we are saying no, doesn't matter what you do, just simply keep your sugars into range. But latest research is saying if we keep doing that, our longevity is reduced.
Mm.
Okay, so that's a functional medicine to know the problem and solve the problem.
Got it. Right. So, coming from there to another question, like what are the common conditions, especially in the pediatric age group, that can be solved with the help of functional medicine?
In the pediatric group, you asked.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
pediatric group is having same problem that we adults have. For example,
Hmm.
schizophrenia is a childhood's autism. Okay, so s- every age group is exposed to the same environment, the dirty food, dirty air, dirty water, dirty lifestyle, dirty lighting. All of us getting similar problems, but yes, different depending on the age. We giving them different labels.
Hmm.
Okay. So I believe if a child is born normal, and most of these kids are born normal, later regression happens. Now, if that is the case, I believe if we work hard enough, most of the chronic problems, either in the kids or in the adulthood or in the elderly, all can be sorted out.
Right, right. And when it comes to learning disorders or a group of disorders which are gaining limelight, I would say in these days, like autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy, also in that case, what is the role of functional medicine in that?
Right. So, autism, ADHD, ASD, ADD, GDD, these are all group of problems where their cognition is poor, their communication is poor, there's a repetitive behavior. Of course, depending on each condition, symptoms could vary, but in most cases, the root cause almost remains same. Now, palsy is a little more tougher problem. I cannot say that palsy can be 100% resolved, but yes, we can improve their health significantly in that case. For
Okay.
example, almost 20-30% of this ADHD or autism cases also has seizures with them.
Hmm.
Okay. So now, when we look at the profile of these kids, they all has heavy metal toxicities in their body. A lot of toxins are deposited into the brain, and that is one of the major reason of they having a seizure.
Hmm.
Now, as we start taking the problem down, the severity of the problem will start coming down. And if we keep doing, like I said, good for good enough time, the problem can be resolved and a child can become normal.
Interesting. So I'll just like to tell you, like a few couple of weeks back, we had a guest on board who is Dr. C.P. Rami Kumar. He is a pediatric neurologist, and he mentioned a lot about significance of dietary modification in prevention of seizures because he treat basically seizures, and he explained that to a lot of extent, if dietary modification can be done in the right way, in the right form, then seizures can be prevented. Not completely 100% cured, but yes, there are a lot of possibilities there. So, if you can throw light on how or else what is the role of functional medicine when it comes to autism management or it comes to ADHD or seizure control, if you can just give a brief explanation, it would be very helpful.
Right. So, like just like diabetes, these problems are also metabolic diseases. Their metabolic function is poor. The mitochondria is At the end of the day, every health function in the body depends on the cell function, which depends on the mitochondria, how much energy we produce.
Right.
Now, all the things that we're doing, that is, sometimes we take antibiotics. Somebody has a viral fever, we take antibiotics. Antibiotic destroys the good microbiome, destroys the mitochondrial health. There's a low energy production, and child can have cognitive disabilities. We are feeding lot of toxins, heavy metals. One of the common ones are aluminium, mercury, lead. Very, very common. Okay. In all the learning disorders, also in the seizures.
Okay.
Now we eliminate these things, body will start functioning better. It's not a rocket science. It's a very simple things which looks like a miracle, but actually it's not. It's just a simple science.
Right.
A lot of these kids have low on proteins.
Hmm.
Now, if they don't digest rightly, the food does not become the part of the body. The body becomes deficit. Now we are constantly remaking ourselves. Old cell will die, new cell will come to maintain the function. Now, if I don't feed the raw materials to my body will not get the new cells. How will it regenerate and how will it function? Okay.
Right.
Major part of the problem, this is nobody is talking about, is the lighting that is around us. Now
Hmm.
I'm sitting in dark, okay, or I have not used any tube lights because tube lights has a specific wavelengths. They're generally in the blue range. Sunlight is a multi-spectrum lighting. Now, we humans should be under sunlight or broad spectrum lighting. Now, what is happening today? We are always under blue light. There's hardly any red light our body exposed. So, red light is very, very critical. 40% of the sunlight or 45% of the sunlight is just simply red light.
Hmm.
Now, this is a major mismatch that we have done. Our child is from the day to the night before they sleep, they're always under tube lights. Major disruption that we have done to our lifestyle, along with the food and all that. Another very, very important thing is the water. A lot of these kids that we encounter, either they don't drink water, or they drink a lot of water. Still, their body is dehydrated. Now, if you fundamentally look at it, 80% of the body is simply water. 80% of the brain is simply water. So, if I have to change the first thing to improve the body, not the food, it would be the water and the light. Because 80% of it is simply water. If I have to lubricate my mitochondria, they have some moving parts also, just like an engine. And it has to function. It has to have enough water into it. And these are simple things. If we do, there's a dramatic changes that experience in these kids.
Awesome. This is so eye-opening. One more follow-up question that I would like to ask on this was mentioning of keto diet. Like there are few research which says that keto diet is helpful in
Yep.
seizure prevention, but it also comes with its own risk factors as well if not done right. So what is your take on that? Like how is this keto diet different from a practice of a functional medicine approach? Because I understand this is a very two different thing, but it somewhere also intersects with each other, right? So how you can explain that part?
So keto diet is good if done rightly.
Right.
Now, first I want to give you what's wrong. Somebody called me and said one of my doctor has told that every 2 hours I should feed something. Even at the night, the child is being fed because child is having seizures. Okay. Now, keto basically means switching the fuel to the mitochondria. It's again for the function of the mitochondria. Okay. Now, fat is more electron dense as compared to the carbohydrates. It's like you are running your engine on a better fuel with a better efficiency, but it has to be done rightly. You have to use the right fats. But sometimes, people take more proteins and they keep calling keto diet. That's all. This thing. It's another problem. Second is uh, it cannot be just simply you keep doing it. If your keto basically means 80 to 90% of your diet is fat. You can do it transiently, probably 7 days in a month. The rest of the time, you have to feed yourself micronutrients also. You have to feed yourself fibers also. Otherwise, you destroy your microbiome, you destroy your nutrition. You're only simply feeding fat. Now, fat is important, and 70% of the brain is fat. So if you have to develop good cells, you need to give them, but that does not mean that anything more is excess is always bad. So you have to test yourself, find out where the missing link is, and do the corrections.
Correct. Awesome. Yeah, that makes absolutely sense. Like it's always good to have the right person to guide you to go through this all processes rather than just randomly trying things, which usually will land up doing, especially in the time of internet where there are so many videos so easily available. That brings me to the next question. Like, let's consider autism as a condition or as a situation where functional medicine plays a very crucial role. How does this autism program with functional medicine look like? What it comprises of? If you can just give a brief, so even our parents can understand that.
Yeah. So let's say a typical child, what are the common things that we see in the child in terms of the findings onto the markers? Okay. They're always low on the proteins. The micronutrients, their magnesium, their zinc, their copper, their sodium, their fatty acids, raw materials are missing in their body. That's across the board. We see that now these kids they're developing their bodies and they deficit onto the fuel. How will they perform?
Mm.
Second is 90% of these kids they have a poor digestive health. Okay, they're bloated, they're constipated, they have GERD at a young age. They're refluxing acid into their esophagus. They cannot digest their food.
Mm.
Next, we are feeding food. Parents today, the objective is somehow they want to feed their child.
Mm.
Whether the child is hungry, not hungry, they just want to feed the child and finish their job.
Right.
Now they make the child sit in front of a screen and keep spooning them. Now, body is a smart organ. If I'm not involved into the food, I will never digest the food. Now, what happens because of these habits of feeding them a lot of sugars, chocolates, and white rice, just milk products. Even when they're sleeping, they feed them milk products. Now, what happens? The food does not get digested; it starts getting fermented. Now, fermentation will give rise to a lot of infections in the body. Fungal infection is a major finding that we see all the time. Their repetitive behavior, their hyperactivity, their speech delay, okay, is largely connected to the fungal infections in their body or in the digestive system. Okay. Then, like I said, they have heavy metals. Mercury is common. Aluminium is very common. Lead is another very common problem. Okay. So
I
there are
think
so
you can show the slide also in parallel if you want to.
I can quickly. So just I think let me use the slide so that I can give in a sync way so that parents can understand. First of
Yeah.
all, most of the time parents are told it's a genetic problem. Now, if a child is born normal and the regression has started happening at age of 1 or 2 or 3, then how can this be a genetic problem? Now, if it is not a genetic problem, there's a good possibility that this problem can be solved. Now, research is very clear today. 80 to 85% of the cases, I would still say it is much more, but research is today clean is that it is 85% of the cases are epigenetics, the factors which influence the gene to manifest a disease. So there's a genotype, there's a phenotype. Now, if the environment is bad, the disease will manifest. If environment is good within the body, outside the body is good, or we make it better again, the manifestation can also reverse. That means disease can also reverse. Okay, so I think this is one fundamental takeaway from this is it's not a genetic problem in majority of the cases. Now, which gives a possibility that it can be solved. Second, most of the time when parents go to a doctor, they go to a neurologist, psychologist, psychiatrist, all that. It is only looked as a brain problem. But if you really deep down look into it, it's a whole body disorder. The body is not healthy and the brain is not healthy. Probably unhealthy body has led to unhealthy brain. Then, of course, the consequences of symptoms. Now, you cannot only make the brain healthy, you have to make the body healthy so that brain can also be healthy. So this is another takeaway that don't only focus on the, their digestive system is a mess. They have eczema, they have psoriasis, their thyroid function is not good, the liver function is not good, and you expect the brain to function. It doesn't work like that. So you have to make their body healthy so that the brain can have. The brain is a downstream. Okay, it comes later. Okay. So if we make the body healthy, you certainly can improve the this thing. Now, commonly, communication, socialization, and uh, repetitive behavior are the trademark of the problem. But if you look at these kids, 90% of them have gut issues. They have a lot of hypersensitivity issues, lot of allergies. So that means we cannot isolate these problems. We have to solve them together in a
Right.
very, very holistic way. So just don't focus on to the uh, uh, you know one part of the problem or one part of the body. You have to look at the body as a complete organ and start fixing it. Now again, if doesn't matter what genes are there, nature is smart. It has given us enough healthy genes. And there's no research to say that in the last 30, 40 years, human genome has changed. But disease prevalence has increased to leaps and bounds, which means it's not the genes which is the problem, it is the environment. Environment, we know it has changed, no doubt about it. So genes load the gun, but environment pulling the trigger. So if we change the environment, make it better, then whatever the manifestation, that can be improved. Now, if we improve the immunity, if we improve the gut function, if we improve the detoxification, the body will function better, brain can function better, or develop, development will be better for this. Now, most of the time, parents are wondering. They don't have the right answers. They're always wondering, why did my child get a problem? And they go to doctor. The doctor say, no, no, it's a genetic problem. Okay. But if I put down few reasons, if the oxidative stress is high, if there are infections in the small intestine, large intestine, that is dysbiosis and SIBO, if there are food allergies, parasitic infections itself can make a child autistic. Fungal infections can make a child autistic. Okay, infections are a major, major problem that we are seeing. As you clean these infections, start being much, much better. The glutathione is low. Like I said, toxic burden is high. Another thing, again, as a medical doctor, I cannot speak against this and that, but sometimes what parents have reported, the child was doing normal, then some vaccination had caused a regression in them. Okay, the vitamin D is very, very low. That means low sun exposure. That means their immune system is bad. That means they are at a risk of the infection. If mother was nutriently deficit, so a mother has to be healthy to give a healthy body. Okay. Today, mothers are nutritionally very, very deficit. Folic acid is another big problem. In the pregnancy, mothers are taking folic acid. Folic acid is a synthetic B9. It should never be taken. It should be folate or methylfolate. And of course, their detoxification, their mitochondria, all that. Now, these are some of the reasons which we commonly see that is triggering the problem in the child. And if we modify these issues, these are all lifestyle issues. And if we modify these issues, you can dramatic changes you can expect. And I keep telling the parents that work with me that if you are sincere and you're ready for the hard work, it's not easy game. If you are ready for the hard work within 9 months, 1 year, you can make your child almost normal. And if you continue, the child, nobody can say that you can basically the tag that a child is having of autism, ASD, ADD, GDD, whatever the tag is the child is having, we can take away the tag. We've worked long enough. So the gut could be a problem. Inflammation in the body is a big problem. Inflammation from the gut to the brain happening, then that that's a big problem. So as we start connecting this, you can expect a lot of good things happening. So functional medicine is not about giving a new kind of medicine. It's just knowing what is wrong in their body and supporting these functions, making their biochemistry better. For example, just to give you an example, if some child has a Clostridium infection, a Clostridium infection will limit the breakdown of the dopamine. And dopamine has to change into epinephrine. And dopamine is active, very, very, which keeps the body active. Epinephrine is something that which calms the body down. Now, if Clostridium infection is there, the conversion becomes poor. It is always hyperactive. Now, if child is hyperactive because of the infection, and we keep giving them therapies and therapies only without knowing and solving the problem, then it's a lifelong problem. It cannot be sorted there without
Right.
addressing. So, lot of deficiencies can be seen in these kids: fatty acids, zinc, iron, folate, magnesium, phospholipids, B complex, amino acids. Feeding them genetically modified food is the big problem. Food allergies, sometimes child is allergic, we still keep feeding without, looking at the consequences. It's simply because parents are unaware.
Hmm.
They keep only thinking the brain, never connect the dots. Digestive system has to be healthy to keep the brain healthy. And there's something called leaky gut. Now, digestion is such a way that you take the nutrition into the blood, rest products are thrown outside. It's like a filter. So if the size of the filters of the intestine becomes bigger, that becomes leaky gut, means the permeability has become a little more than it should be. Toxins start going into the blood. Now, when a lot of toxins are there into the body, how will the body function? It's just like a car engine, a lot of waste into it. So this has to be solved.
Hmm.
Gut brain. So like brain is controlling the gut. Gut is also controlling the brain. Like I said, infections in the gut can impact your neurotransmitters. So if we have to improve these things, we have to improve their gut function. 90% of them have a poor digestive system. So it should not be looked at here. It should be into the digestive system.
Right.
A lot of disruptors, antibiotics. Somebody has a viral fever, we give them antibiotic. Viral fevers and antibiotics are a dangerous combination. So antibiotics are emergency, no problem. They're known to disrupt your microbiome, and your microbiome health is your health. And you disrupt your bacteria, you disrupt the whole game. And most of the time, when we take history from the parents, they say, my child was doing well, then he had a fever or she had a fever, and antibiotics were given for a long period of time. And this has led to the regression. This is clear writing on the wall. This is the problem. But still, nobody is looking into that direction, unfortunately.
Right. Right.
Lot of body lotion, sunblocks, pesticide, plastics. We're feeding our body a lot of toxic waste. You know, just we have too much money nowadays. We want to pamper our kids. We take them to all nonsensical food stores, and child don't know what is good and bad for their food. That is a decision that a parent has to take. Either to keep the life simple, or just to pamper the child because we have too much money. Give them anything they ask for without understanding the consequences. So this major disruption that we are going to. Uh, Now there is a water. 50% of the brain body is water. Now, like I said, some of these kids are drink more than enough water. So it's not only about how much water we're drinking; it's about the quality of the water. Left side image is a unorganized, unstructured water. Right side image is a structured water. Structured water has the ability to hydrate the cell. Unstructured, you drink it, it'll go out. You drink it, it'll go out. So quality of the water is very, very important. Just not, most of the time we are told that drink enough water. That's even bad. More water is also bad. It can kill your mitochondria.
Hmm.
Now this is very, very significant is the electromagnetic fields which are created by the gadgets around us, mobile towers around us, TV towers around us, mobile phones around us, Wi-Fi's around us. Now, child, it is impacting all of us. Even the adults, we are affected badly. The child's body is healthy. They don't have enough resistance. So just to understand the gravity, a 6-year-old child's body absorbs 60% more radio frequency. Wi-Fi is a radio frequency, radio waves. Now, if your Wi-Fi is always on at the home, child is bombarded with it. Just microwaves are radio frequency waves. It's just like microwaving your child all the time. How will they function? And sometimes, parents, when we talk to them, they say, "What do we do with this?" You have to take the right decisions. Nature don't care about my work, your lifestyle, somebody's lifestyle. Nature don't really care. If you follow the nature, your health will be there. If you don't, you have a problem. So it's not about what therapy or what solution. It's about ask yourself whether the child is getting everything that the child's body needs to build a good brain. Is there any deficiency? Is there any hydration problem? The digestive system is bad. Or is there anything which is interfering with the cell function? Is the microwave, Wi-Fi, cell function, blue light, or simply toxins in their body? Okay. So we have developed this program. There are two components to the program. One is we want to educate parents. Now, if I don't educate parents, they start some treatment with us. 2 3 months, they stop it because it needs a lot of effort. So parent education becomes very, very critical on the topic of what is the problem, what is the solution look like, how much time it will need, and what are the turbulences can come on the way when we are doing a treatment. So, and they need a lot of hand holding. Now, if I give a treatment and I still come back after 3 months, in between these 3 months, a lot of things can happen, good and bad, and parents might lose it. So we want to ensure that they're working with us and our team is always with them to supporting them in this period. So the parent can get education on the root cause and the solution. Second is a personalized treatment. That is, we test the child thoroughly on their blood work, on their hair samples, on their microbiome, on their organic acid testing, that is, metabolites of the cell function. So we get to understand the cell function, get to understand the toxins, get to understand the organ function, get to understand the immune system, get to understand the nutrition in the body, get to understand their microbiome. So a very, very personalized plan can be made to control their infections, to control their uh, you know immune system, which is doing a self damage in most of these cases. Autoimmunity is building to improve the nutrition, to improve their detoxification, to improve the liver function, thyroid function. So as a consequence, child has to improve. There's no other way, no. If you do the right things, the body has to improve. This is what it is meant for. It is meant for health only. It is not meant for disease.
Correct.
Only when we don't, doesn't matter how hard we try, if we don't walk in the right direction, the problem is always there. But when we start walking in the right direction, immediately you start seeing that the body is responding. So this is what we do, and I'm happy to take your further questions.
Right, absolutely. This makes so much sense, and it's a big eye opener for I think all the parents because as you said, right, like it's not always the brain. Sometimes it's the other things that makes a huge role. And as a therapist, being a physiotherapist, this is one of the biggest challenge that we face while treating patients or children suffering from developmental disorder. Is like that they get sick, which they get sick very often, right? And or if they get the seizure, and all the recovery or the development that they have achieved absolutely go back to square zero. It's
Yes.
not only a frustrating situation for parent, but it's also a frustrating situation for us as therapists because we have to spend so much of time with the child to make sure that the child is developing and moving around, and then suddenly all of a sudden this one illness pulls away everything. So I think that this makes so much sense that if things are taken keeping child in the cornerstone, right? And if we try to look from a 360-degree of how we can help child, then there is a possibility that the child can be better and get better through this. So parents, if you have got any questions, because I see somebody has written, hi Kavita, hi Muhammadul, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Meanwhile, I ask one question to him, like, I got your point, like there are different steps on step by step how we can help child, but are there any tips, you can say it as a default or as a parent, because I am also a parent of a young girl, that we as parents should always take care, uh, some day to day lifestyle tips that you would like to give to all the
Yeah,
parents out there.
absolutely. So I'll give you the basic tips which are more than important than the treatment. First is the light. Now, light, see, every form of life on this earth is fueled by the sun. Okay. And if somebody tells us that sun is bad during daytime, is absolute rubbish. They don't know what they're talking about. Now, just to give you the example, if sun was bad any time of the day, all the plantation, all the street animals would die. Okay, so sun is always good, and that's a source of the energy for all of us. So make sure you at least take your child under sunlight for 45 minutes to 1 hour and ground their body. Now, grounding simply take off the shoes, let them be in touch with the ground. The first priority. Second priority is don't use too much of artificial lights in your house. Daytime, I don't need any lighting. Why do I need to switch the lights on? Tube lights, LED lights are extremely bad for the brain health. Overall health also, but at least specifically to say for the child, the brain health can be big time hampered by the tube light. After it is sunset, don't have a Diwali at home by turning all the lights and tube lights and LEDs. It's a big no. You want to keep it low because it kills your mitochondria. Thereby, functionality of the brain will reduce. Now, every cell has 5,000 to 15,000 mitochondria. Each cell has 5,000 to 15,000 mitochondria. Now, functionality of the mitochondria, number of the mitochondria will define the cognitive abilities. And if I keep myself exposed to the blue light all the time, I keep killing them and I age faster. Second is the using a lot of technology around the child. You want to reduce that as much as possible. If you reduce completely, your child will start speaking. For example, speech is a big problem. If my child is always in front of the screen, then they will never develop this verbal thing because their whole focus is onto the memory. They're looking at the videos and the content and all that. So if you stop that nonsense, your child will start speaking. It's always happening. It's not that some anecdote I'm saying. It's always happening. The non-verbal kids had started speaking within few days, or they were not at all speaking. They started speaking few words while I started speaking complete words. So it is 100% achievable. Second thing is a water. So you take a glass bottle, keep your RO water, clean water. Now clean is not enough, but take your clean water into the bottle, keep it under sun for 3 hours. That's sun charged water. This sun will absorb infrared light from the sun. It'll also improve prana, that's the life force. This water itself becomes therapeutic. Feed your water sun-charged water. Okay. If any child is drinking more than enough water, by giving them sun-charged water, the need of the water will also come down. Third, of course, the food. You don't feed them a lot of sugars. Not if any child is hyperactive, even stop their fruits, bananas, oranges, mangoes. Stop their fruits if somebody is very hyperactive, because you feed the fungal infection by feeding them fruits also. So white rice, gluten, milk products, sugars, refined oils. You want to eliminate, and you want to switch to more healthier grains. You want to switch to non-dairy, plant-based protein. Sorry, milk product. Coconut milk is fantastic. Uh, then, of course, make sure your nutrition is balanced. Okay, whatever the steps you can do it yourself. If this much is done, half of the problem is sorted. Of course, then we can intervene and really look into the each of the child and see what are the specifics of each child and fix them.
Absolutely. I think these are pretty much. addressable steps and doable steps for parents. And few of them, definitely I would believe that every parent can start practicing and they can start observing the difference. Thank you
Okay.
so much, sir. If parents want to reach out to you, what is the best way to reach out for them?
So if our website is functionalmedicineclinic.in. Okay. So what we also do is we do a discovery call for them. So me or my team, somebody will speak to them over the phone, so that before we take any parent or any patient to our programs, we want to make them understand. Okay, this is the problem. This is the solution. This is the path. Okay, and it's not a pill taking that, and it's not easy. So anybody coming on the way should be ready for the hard work. But yes, they can expect the child to become normal.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you, parents, for watching this live stream. This live stream is now available on YouTube as well. So make sure to be part of that. And we would be also sharing small nuggets of wisdom that was shared by Dr. Ashwani today on our all social media handles. So make sure to follow us there as well. Thank you so much, guys. We will end this live here. And if you have got any question, feel free to post it in the comment section below. We would make sure that we share these questions to doctor, and we will get back to you with the answers. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.